In today's narrative, Jesus takes his inner circle of disciples on a hike up an unknown mountain. And strange things happen. In full view of Peter, James, and John, an amazing change comes over the road-worn and weary Jesus. His face blazes like the sun. His clothes glisten in lucent white. And then comes the surprising but elusive appearance of the thought to be bygone pioneers of the faith, Moses and Elijah. The mysterious story begins with Jesus leading his company of followers up the mountain like a tour guide, and it ends with Jesus under the full spotlight of divine glory, alone. What in this present-day world can one say about this mystery? What thoughtful comment is in order for this? Surely there's some rational explanation for what's happening here. Surely I'll arrive at a stronger interpretation that will put my previous ones to rest. But one ordinary day, I came to realize something with this story. Call it revelation, an aha experience, or whatever. There I am, straining and explaining within the walls of my study as God drew me into this weird story once again. The Spirit led me onto the holy ground of Christ's beautiful presence on the mountaintop. And as I had done all along, I began to do what good old Peter wanted to do. As I read out loud for myself the account of Christ's face glistening in glory and the great reunion with the faith warriors of old, I came to realize that my urge was Peter's urge. Lord, it is good for us to be here. If you wish, I will pitch 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, one for Elijah. And we'll just hang out here forever together. Overwhelmed by Jesus Christ's mystical presence, our first inclination is to capture that mystery intense. Contain the experience. Manage it. Package it. Put a sensible spin on it. Explain the life out of it. That's what living in Einstein's alley will do to you. Demystify a mystery. Solve the problem of divine presence. Peg the personality and presence of our friend Jesus, since we think we have a handle on him. But what happens to Peter in the story? What happens to us when we rush beyond the beauty of mystery to the flatness of what seems reasonable? While Peter is still jabbering, well, Lord, let's package this thing up with some tents, God blatantly interrupts the busybody. God pours forth another intense manifestation of mystery upon Peter and his friends. Suddenly a bright cloud overshadows Peter and the gang, and from the cloud a voice confirms the importance of this glorified Jesus. This is my Son, the Beloved. Listen to him. What is the final reaction from the busybodies. Peter, James, and John fall to the ground in fear and awe. Theologians call this a reaction to the mysterium tremendum. Something like standing in front of a perpetually burning bush, or something like standing 10 feet from a commuter train zooming by at 75 miles per hour. But in this silent reverence, Jesus approaches the disciples and touches them in love, deep love, and not to be misled by who the first and last focus is here. We get Jesus under the spotlight of glory alone. Retired professor of philosophy at Princeton Theological Seminary, Diogenes Allen, it's a great name for a philosophy professor, once wrote, "We do not solve mysteries. We enter into them. The deeper we enter into them, the more illumination we get. Still greater depths are revealed to us the deeper we go." The difficulty for Peter, and for that matter all of us, is that we confuse mystery with problems to be solved or persons to be pegged. We are practical-minded people who like to know the exact observable science of how everything works. Modern psychological thought has led us to believe that we can explain a great deal of human behavior by examining what inner motives lie beneath. We like problems because they are closed-ended. When a problem or situation is solved or handled or exhaustively explained, it is over and done with for us. Not so with the mystery and beauty of Jesus Christ. His encounter with us and our encounter with Him is far deeper and far more elusive than our casual controlling and computing sensitivities can stand. This means I am never finished with apprehending who Jesus is and what He means to me in my life. I can never plumb the depths of this mystery, nor exhaust the mystery with my own limited understanding. Mystery, once recognized, is something or someone we are never finished with. As we enter into Christ's beautiful presence again and again, the meaning and mystery is never exhausted, contained, domesticated, or totally interpreted. Thank God. Brothers and sisters, like the disciples of old, today we bask in the light of Christ. Let us enter and gratefully receive the mystery as mystery. As the Catechism of our Presbyterian friends says, let it be our chief end in this life to glorify God and enjoy God forever. Before we set out to explain and contain, before we venture out to pitch the tents or head back down the mountain, may we first bow down and bend the knee in reverence and awe. Glory to God. For we are now bathed in touched by the hand of an elusive presence, a beautiful Savior whose mercies come to us anew every single morning. Glory to God. For we are grasped by a tremendous mystery that can never be exhausted or flattened